What's going on, guys? This Ro. We're gonna react a little bit, bro. We're gonna talk about it. We're looking at just pearly things, man. She came into the red pill space. They wanted to call her like the female Andrew Tate and all this stuff. She wanted to talk about relationships, man. She got into some drama here and there. With some bigger podcasters. I think she tried to start a thing with what's that female? That female that dated a b-ball player, had a kid, and then she turned into a thought, and then she turned like Islamic, and bruh, anyway, had beef with her for a little bit after they tried to do a podcast situation. um but anyways, we gonna talk about it, bro. I haven't seen this yet at all, but it's about divorce. It's about relationships, man. Me being divorced before. It's something, there's some stuff you got to look for, so we gonna go into it.
So I wanted to read an article by Rollo Tosi talking about genuine desire. And I
Said Rollo Tomasi. I think it broke up there.
want to talk about what that is. So this is called the desire dynamic. It's on therationalmale.com. You cannot negotiate desire. This is a very simple principle that most men and the vast majority of women are willfully ignorant of. One of the most common personal problems I've been asked for advice on the last 10 years is some variation of, how do I get her back? Usually this breaks down into men seeking some sort of methodology to return his relationship to an earlier state where a previously passionate woman couldn't keep her hands off of him. 6 months into a comfortable familiarity and the thrill is gone. But in truth, it's the genuine desire that is gone. It's
Yeah, I can see that. Over time, people could start, losing feelings for each other, or they no. It's really, they get out of that honeymoon phase, man. It's that honeymoon phase tricks a lot of people. That first year, bro, you think sunshine and butterflies. You move in with her after 6 months, all that stuff, bro. Don't do it. It takes a lot of time, bro. You got to be able to tolerate. You got to test the waters before you move in with her. Like, go somewhere, go to a hotel, bro. Do you even, like, how does she act? She may pull some stuff that you never seen, bro. Just being with her for a night and seeing her daily activities, man. So, and seeing that for 20 years, you maybe get turned off by stuff that you were already turned off by, on that first night of, you waking up next to the person, or going, spending an entire weekend, like 72 hours with them. Can you even tolerate that? So a lot of people don't know, and it's too late whenever you lock it in, man. The dude's gonna lose a pound of flesh every time.
often at this stage that a man will resort to negotiation. Sometimes this can be as subtle as him progressively doing things for her in hopes that she'll reciprocate with the same sexual fervor that they used to have. So this is where you see women like Katy Perry on that podcast saying that her husband has to do chores in order to get her to have sex with him. She is not actually attracted to him, and so he has to negotiate the attraction. Other times, a married couple may go to counseling to resolve their issues and negotiate terms for her sexual compliance. He'll promise to do the dishes and a load of laundry more in exchange for her feigned sexual interest in him. Yet, no matter what terms are offered, no matter how great an external effort he makes, so deserving of reward, the genuine desire is not there for her. In fact, she feels worse for not having the desire after such efforts were made for her compliance. Negotiated desire only ever leads to obligated compliance. This is why her post
Oh, negotiated desire only leads to obligated compliance. That's pretty good. So, how I how, what I can decipher from that, it's, you can't fake something to be real, right? You can't fake it till you make it. You're faking it until you're dead, essentially, until it just rots. You're allowing it to rot. You're not actually building anything upon it, right? You're sweeping it under the rug. If there's something that you need to bring up to the other person that you want them to fix, you have to tell them. You have to tell them, or it's going to continue to deteriorate. You putting a band-aid on a gut shot isn't gonna like completely fix it. You got to go in and you got to take out the bullet, you know. So you have to actually treat it, fix it, do better. Is gonna You got to put in work, otherwise, it's just gonna get worse. Obligated compliance, that's slavery, right? That's slavery. You're dangling the carrot in the hopes that you get something in return, but that you're putting yourself below that person, and now that person who's dangling that carrot, who already is thinking low of you because they have to dangle a carrot in the first place, they're gonna look at you even lower as a person, which justifies them dangling the carrot in the first place, bro. That you got to be careful about that, man.
Negotiation sexual response is so often lackluster and the source of even further frustration on his part. She may be more sexually available to him, but the half-hearted experience is never the same when they first met and there was no negotiation, just spontaneous
Honeymoon.
desire for each other. From a male perspective, and particularly that of an uninitiated beta male, negotiation of desire seems like a rational solution to the problem. Men tend to innately rely on deductive reasoning, otherwise known as an if-then logic stream. The code is something like this. I need sex, plus women have the sex I want, plus query women ask women about their conditions for sex, plus meet their prerequisites for sex equals the sex I want. So this is also when men try to qualify to women for their lists. They're essentially, even though women will sleep with broke musicians, personal trainers, men that don't have anything together, right? Okay, so make it make sense. It's simple economics, but built on a foundation that relies on a woman's accurate self-evaluations. The genuine desire they used to experience at the onset of their relationship was predicted upon a completely unknown set of variables. Overtly communicating a desire for reciprocal desire creates obligation and sometimes even ultimatums. Genuine desire is something a person can come to or be led to on their own volition. You can force a woman by threat to comply with behaving in a desired manner, but you cannot make her want to behave that way.
So it sounds like that. It's essentially what I talked about, man. You can't dangle the carrot. You can't feel good about having the carrot dangled in your face, and taking a bite of it. Just because you follow that person, who's dangling the carrot to do the thing that you want them to do, man. There's a sense of respect you got to have for yourself, a lot of times, and to have that to be put in that position, man, it's not good. It's not good at all for them to look at a guy, especially as a leader. It's like, who's leading who's got the carrot to be dangled, man. You say, if anything, they need to dangle on this carrot. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it should be, man. You should put yourself as a higher tiered individual, at all times, and portray yourself to be that, throughout. And if there's a carrot dangled, already lost respect for you, man. I'd say call it off, or look for an exit strategy. That's what I say.
A prostitute will F you for an exchange. It doesn't mean that she wants to. Whether a long-term relationship or one-night stands, strive for genuine desire in your relationships. Half of the battle is knowing you want to be with a woman who wants to please you, not one who feels obligated to. You will never draw this genuine desire from her by overt means, but you can covertly lead her to this genuine desire. The trick is provoking real desire and keeping her ignorant of your intent to provoke it. Real desire is created by her thinking it's something she wants, not something she has to do. So I think the most important sentence here is that genuine desire is when women want to listen to you or they want to please you, not that they feel like they have to. Now, why is this important? Because there is a debate going on Twitter right now. And the question is, women feel genuine desire for a very small percentage of men. It's rare. So what do we do as a society moving forward? Do women compromise on their type and marry men they're not attracted to? And as a man, do you want a woman to marry you if she's not attracted to you? The reason I ask this is because, and she's been on the show,
So excited.
there's a woman named Lori talking about how she did not initially have genuine desire for her husband, but they stuck it out, and now they've been happily married for years.
When I first met him, I won't tell you how he was dressed or anything because I don't want to embarrass him, but I was not attracted physically to him. But there weren't those butterflies and the things that I thought should be there with a man that I was supposedly in love with. And he said to me, "How would you like to be Mrs. Alexander?" And I said, "Sure." That was it. No ring, no going on his knee, no, nothing, And so, and I wasn't that excited. I felt like he stole my joy. I don't know what was wrong with me. And so I went on my wedding day, and none of those butterflies and excitement. I'd go to my bridal showers, and none of that. It was just like this emptiness to me. It's like, why don't I have that in me? I don't like this. I want to have butterflies and so excited. But we discussed that divorce would never be in our vocabulary. So we got married. And the first 20 years were rough because I was still critical. So now that I've been married almost 44 years, I can tell you women that love is not an emotion. That is a really shaky, unstable ground to build your marriage upon. So anyway, women, remember, just because you've maybe lost the butterflies and the emotions and the feelings for your husband, that's not love. Well, I'm going to be going to church soon, and I will learn in silence with all submission.
Okay, so I listened to this and I don't hear.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. That's a very interesting take. And before she goes into it, she may actually talk about it. I think it's because you aren't going through that actual honeymoon phase with arranged marriages. So you're starting at a lower point, building yourself up to that point of loving that person or caring for that person, instead of you not knowing them, going to love, honeymoon expectations, and then over time it starts to decline. So I think you're burning out early. I think it's the burnout is what kills it. Am I wrong? Leave a comment. Let me know. That's crazy. That's something interesting to think about.
Hear anything that's innately wrong, right? We don't want divorce. Divorce is bad for children. Most men or most women cannot marry men that they're attracted to. There are just not enough to go around. When we look at who women select for sex, there are simply not enough. So the question is to men, would you be happy with this kind of marriage? Some men may say yes, some men may say no. Now, on the other hand, this is a New York Post article, and this is a marriage that's built on genuine desire. So again, what you get with a lot of marriages in the church is obligated compliance, because they're not doing it because they want to, but because they're obligated to. I'm not saying that's right or that's wrong. I'm just saying that's two different types of marriages. So Goldie Hawn's secret to a 4-decade relationship with...
Yeah, so just going back on what she said. So the obligated compliance, there's no carrot that is being dangled. And that's what's I guess that's what's like not like the expectation of you looking down upon that person. You're coming to each other at an equal level, unsure of what's going to actually happen. So there's really no expectations, from there on both sides. So there's no carrot. It may be on the parents, whatever. So that's that's what I see is like the benefit of arranged marriages. There's no carrot to be dangled. It's you're it's forced obligated compliance. You have an obligation to marry whatever based on honor of your family and stuff. So I guess when you put it in that reverse order, I think there's a lot of things that you don't have troubles with. Like in the future, the hardest part is really just taking that step. But over time, as long as they both treat each other well enough, I think it's going to be a positive in the long run. That's crazy.
Kurt Russell, good sex. Goldie Hawn has a simple secret for why her 4-decade relationship with Kurt Russell continues to be a success. Good sex. Because sex is something that connects you and creates more belonging. People who have healthy sexual relationships usually last longer. But it's not just because of the act, it's because of the warmth and the intimacy that it creates. Hawn told E! News at her In Love Gala celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Goldie Hawn Foundation in Mind Up LA on September 27th. She also quipped, "You have to be nice to each other upon occasion." The couple have been together since 1983, and they initially met on set in 1968 of the one and only genuine original family band. But it would be years until they officially became romantic. They starred in the 1984's Swing Shift before reuniting on screen again in the Jerry Marshall directed comedy Overboard in 1987. "You know you're not the same person the now and then," Starr explained over the weekend. "You don't think the same way oftentimes, and you have to accept that. But you have to measure, are we having fun, and is this something that we want to do? Do we laugh together? Do we share certain things? You don't have to share everything." The First Wives star continued, "We have a lot of expectation, I think, around relationships, but you have to like the person. That's very important." Hawn, 78, and Russell, 73, have never married, but are parents of the actor Wyan Russell, 38. Kurt also welcomed son Boston Russell with the
That's one other thing. That may be another counterbalance. There's a lot of people who are in these long-term relationships with children but aren't married, and that I think that's also a positive because there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose except the relationship itself. Divorce, the guy or the female, depending on who makes more, is going to lose something. So there's less of an incentive to actually separate or be away from each other, divorce or break up, because there's less incentive. So, you may go through your spats, whatever, and I'm sure that they probably had some of those, but I mean, you just rekindle it again, instead of smashing it. After a divorce, it's going to take more to come back, from an actual divorce. Some people do get remarried, but still, I think that's going to be the future. A lot of people are going to get together, have children, and not actually marry. Man, because the expectation of the Disney dream of walking down the aisle, that there's even less expectation when you don't expect it. So I think that's what it is. These girls' minds are too dolled up and dreamed up. So if we don't even get to that point, then either break it off early or just ride with us.
Ex-wife Susan Hubley and Sean is the mom of actors Olivia and Kate Hudson, who she had with musician Bill Hudson. Kurt also spoke about their relationship while they attended the event on Friday. "Most people have been together for a long time, and I think share one thing in common. And that is, after many years together, you will have experienced just about everything there is to experience together and understand all the ups and the downs of just what it means. I love the fact that we met and we're still doing it. We like being together." So you have one school of thought that says, even if the feelings aren't there, you stay together and you are obligated to listen to your husband. And on the other hand, a lot of people would see this as shallow, right? They would say, well, it's just sex. But if there's no sex, what makes it different that you might as well just have a friendship. So it's two different schools of thought, right? And I'm not saying one's right or wrong. I'm just explaining them.
Yeah, that was a.
So today's episode.
I need to stop that. So that's a good article by Rolo. You know, talking about the obligations of, you know, one party, and you know, pretty much being, I wouldn't say cucked, but you know, being told in order for you to get this, you have to do this. It's never getting to that point to where you want to demean your other party. I think that comes from hatred, that comes from angst. You wouldn't do that unless you were deep down kind of like detesting the person. And I think a lot of that comes from going through a honeymoon phase, possibly. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Going through that honeymoon phase, and thinking this person is above and beyond, and your expectations were decreased, you having less respect for that person, and then you bringing on this carrot on a stick mentality towards this person. There's a reason why women engage in 70% of the divorces and stuff, is because they have all these expectations about what life is going to be after marriage. They don't see it. They're like, what happens after you get picked up on the white horse and was carried off into the wind? What happens after that? And it was like, well, shit, she's inside of a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, you know, with 3 screaming kids. This isn't the life that she asked for. She just asked to ride the damn horse, right? So the expectations weren't as expected, and then they hate the husband or the man or that other party because this isn't what they expected, and they hate the other person for it, blame that other person, you know, lose respect, have a divorce. Whenever you're just riding along with that person, just like those 2 celebrities, they're just together, they're having fun, good sex, good sex, good sex, sure, whatever. This is what you expect. You expect good sex. As long as the person is laying it down, that's it. It's like, oh, you get into the 70s, hey man, you better get you some blue pills, you know what I'm saying? And go from there. And if you can still lay it down, go ahead. You know, they probably do the swinger stuff too. I don't doubt it, you know, so don't hate me for it, allegedly. So, you know, they keep it spicy, you know, so that was the expectation, and it still worked. So as long as, I think, with the honeymoon phase, as far as like, oh, I'm going to feel this forever, they expect to feel that forever and don't see it. I think that's what's breaking apart compared to these arranged marriages, to where you have no expectations. You're just going to see what's going to happen. And then you having a good cruising altitude through the marriage itself, instead of you falling down. But anyways, guys, I'm getting a call. So we'll just leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Then we'll talk about it later. See you.